Talking about the better organization on this
Mm.
side, Corey, as William Contreras likes to say, a Cub to a Cardinal. We're going to the St. Louis Cardinals as we trek around. I love the rivalries too. That's another thing. Before I get, I love that we're doing these rivalry where we're doing the rivals in
Good
the
point.
farm features back to back. And starting off with number one for the Cardinals is JJ Weatherholt, infielder, second, short. Third, ETA 2026. Right now, he's MLB's number five prospect. And, you can really make the argument with him, McGonigal, with Griffin. For me, I think he's the most MLB ready out of those guys. I know a few of them with DeVries, they're a little bit ways away. Weatherholt, I think, is right there. He is a guy that, you call up, I think, for opening day. You don't blink an eye with what he can bring to the table. A few weeks ago, we talked about fantastic all-around player as one of the risers, at least a 50 grade tool in every skill set with a high of a 65 grade hit tool leading the way. Just to take a look inside the numbers last year for Weatherholt, who played games for AA Springfield and AAA Memphis. 42 games for Memphis, AAA Memphis, 57 games for Springfield. For Memphis, AAA, he just batted 314, 416 OBP, 562 slugging. Springfield, which is kind of interesting, double A was a little bit of a step down. 300, 425, 466. He had 10 homers in triple A, 7 homers in double A. So he got better at a higher level of competition with guys that are knocking on the doorstep. The offense is legit. And again, that 65 hit tool, sometimes it feels like it doesn't do it justice with his control of the zone, with his contact. He sprays the ball all over the field. A guy that I'm looking at, a guy that I was thinking of, doing the research is Corey Seager, a lofty
Mhm.
comp. But when I look at a guy that has a versatile bat, plays shortstop, I think that's where the hope might stick down the line. But again, a guy that can play second, third, short, that versatility that the Cardinals love and have loved out of guys at the big league level. I mean, almost an even K to walk rate, which is just so impressive. And looking at the numbers from Seager when he was coming up with the Dodgers to Weatherholt, similar stuff in that regard. Biggest thing for him defensively. Talked about it in a recent MLB.com article. He taught in quotes. He said, "I think it's going to come down to defensively being able to put in a position that might be challenging for me, but one that the team can trust, and I can perform there and stay there a while." So he even acknowledges it. Such a veteran savvy like quote from a guy that has yet to play in the majors yet. So a lot of discussion with Brendan Donovan with the Cardinals. I think he's a little bit blocking Weatherholt right now because you got Mason Wynn, Arenado as well. We'll see. But again, lefty utility guy. Lefty utility guy. They kind of do a little bit of the same things. So I think if they move him this off season, really opens up the path for Weatherholt. At least maybe not opening day with service time manipulation, but getting him up right away. Number two is Liam Doyle, left-handed pitcher, the recent draft pick number 5 for the Cardinals, MLB number 36 in the top 100, 15.4 strikeouts per nine. I'll start there.
Oh
He
my
was the
gosh.
SEC pitcher of the
Jeez.
year. Yeah, he was striking guys out like nobody's business. An electric fastball graded at 75. And it looks, we've talked so much about Scooble. We've talked about Garrett Crochet. It's that motion and that fastball. Looking at the video, it rides just like it. High in the zone, guys aren't catching up to it, has strikeout stuff. The windup, very similar to Alex Vesia, where he keeps the ball high. He really keeps it in the glove for a very long time so hitters can't see it as that high motion comes down and through the mound very well. Again, Ks per nine, ERA as well, really built up a resume. For the Cardinals, smart thing, in my opinion, they got him going right away. He finished the year in double A. He started in single A. He pitched one game. He went up to double A. They're not messing around. I'll get to their a little bit of a weakness, similar to what you brought up, Corey, with their pitching. So, but they're getting him ready and getting him in the bigs. Gonna have to build up. just 5 innings across high A and double A. So interested to see how he does in a full season. So I think sometimes, in college, he had those games where he gave up 5, 6 runs. He was out of there in 3 1/3. So it's going to be about the workload, building it up, and also efficiency, limiting the pitch count, working on the ground ball stuff, working on the fly ball stuff. Can't rely on the strikeout at the major league level all the time. So I think that's going to be the next big things for him. Now we get into the backstops. Fun stuff here. Get into some catchers. First off, the number 3 prospect, Rainiel Rodriguez, ETA 2028 catcher, top catching prospect in the Cardinals system. An absolute masher from the catcher position. The power is there. 60 grade power from the backstop position. 20 homers across 3 levels, and that's when he hit 0 in double A, where he finished with Peoria. So he's with high A Peoria, excuse me. So he's going to mash the baseball, low hips, great bat placement, goes through the zone very quickly, and excellent plate discipline. The catcher using the eyes from behind the plate to the stick, 54 walks to 65 strikeouts, only 19 years old. We talk about younger guys making an impact. He's got a lot of years ahead of him. 50 grade hit tool, 60 grade power from the backstop. So a gold standard is there for the Cardinals with Yadier Molina, the longtime great, and one of the greatest, catchers we've seen in the last 20 years. And, Rodriguez still got to work on the defense. Final stats, he upped his line drive percentage over 44% line drives, which is huge for him. 276 average, 399 OBP, 20 homers, 63 RBIs, 555 slugging from the catcher position. The errors, got to cut those down. He's another guy like Ballesteros, who is he going to be a DH? Is he going to be a catcher? Have some time to build him out. He's still in high A. Next guy on the list, Leonardo Bernal. He's a little bit closer. The ETA is 2026. Cardinals got a crowded catching room with Ivan Herrera, with Pozo in there. So they've got some guys that are at the big league level. Jimmy Crooks, who just graduated, is going to graduate from prospect status. He was a 2024 Texas League MVP. Here's Bernal, switch hitting catcher, brings versatility with great discipline as well. That his defense is off the chart, ladies and gentlemen. Caught over 747 innings behind the plate, only 10 errors, and he won a Gold Glove last year in minor league baseball. They only give him out to 9 guys, and he won one of them for his defensive prowess and caught out would-be base stealers at a 39% clip. It would have been 4th in Major League Baseball if you bring it up to the big league game, behind only be ahead of guys like Patrick Bailey, Dylan Dingler, JT Real Muto. So some guys that really pride themselves on their defense. And he held pitchers. He was great with Springfield. ERA was 3.34. He was behind the dish leading the charge. So bat is still a work in progress, but like what I'm seeing, I think he's more all around ready than Rodriguez is, who still has to work on the defense. So, but again, they've got a handful of guys already there. So we'll see if there's a situation when they look to move him around to first, to DH, what they do with him, with William Contreras going out. Is he another guy that they switch first? DH catcher as well. And number 5 for the Cardinals is Quinn Mathews, left-handed pitcher, ETA 2026, a 4th-round selection in 2023. Finished with over 200 strikeouts, just a few years removed from that. Strikeout machine with a 4-pitch mix, changeup, the great equalizer, very deceptive, but has struggled with his fastball. The struggles have come really with his command, with his fastball command. He started 22 games last season at AAA with Memphis, 3.93 ERA. The walks went up and the Ks went down. His last 4 starts, he had 17 walks in just 19 1/3 innings pitched. So that's got to be the biggest thing that he cleans up, especially when he doesn't have a extremely lively fastball. So, it's really been the breaking stuff that has been been his bread and butter. The fastball is still catching up. So it could be decision time for him in 2026. Diamond in the rough, I mean, very almost mirror image to you, Corey, in terms of a right-handed pitcher that's been in the system for a while. I'm going with Tink Hess, the Cardinals' number 14 prospect, was as high as number 2 in 2024 and number 4 in 2023. So he's been up there at the top of the system, but hadn't only pitched in 8 games last season. Versatility is huge in what he can provide for this Cardinals staff, and he has really been a starter. But Heim Bloom recently talking about his impact. It could be in the bullpen because he has an incredible circle change. 70 grade pitch. The pitch had a 73% overall whiff rate and a 63% whiff in zone rate in 2024. This is an excellent pitch that just dives off the table, lives in the low 80s, mid 80s as well. So again, conversations about him moving to the bullpen. I think, you start him in AAA, you see, I'd say put him in that role right away, get him working there because the Cardinals still, figuring out their bullpen. That was one of their issues this past season. So 2024, he had a breakout, 2.71 ERA, 20 starts, 109 Ks for AA Springfield. Last season, only 8 starts, 2.95 ERA, injuries the whole season. So very intrigued to see what they do with him. Again, he could be up as early as next season for the Cardinals. Strengths, power from the plate. Talked about Rodriguez. Didn't even talk about Joshua Baez, who Sam brought up a few weeks ago when we were talking about, NL Central guys and risers. Jesus Baez, the brother Baez bashers up the middle. So they need it, especially with Arenado, Goldschmidt already out the door. This power, this wave of power is going to come up, and the Cardinals are going to need it, especially with all the guys, especially like Wetherholt, who have a great hit tool, get on base, win, great hit tool. Jordan Walker already at the big league level. I was there. Infield talent as well. Talked about Weatherholt, Padilla as well, their number 11 prospect. Baez all have an ETA of 2029 or sooner, with 2 of them scheduled in the next 2 years with Padilla and Weatherholt. So pretty scary stuff. Talking about a team that has good infield depth. What are they going to do with it? We'll see with that. Weaknesses, right-handed arms, and right-handed arms specifically. Doyle's and Mathews are there. Hence and Friardo, who we've discussed previously with the trade with William Contreras. Looking at the big league level, Liberatore is there. They traded for Richard Fitz in that Contreras trade as well. But these great Cardinals teams, they have had depth from the right side. They've had greats like Wainwright and Flaherty, but when you have a Miles Michaelis, when you have a Michael Walker, when you have guys that are in the ready to come up, that's huge. So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at, relief arms. They've got a lot of guys who have started in the minors. So yeah, I think for the Cardinals, they have some great talent, especially behind the plate, where they're going to have to make some decisions of, are they going to keep, with Ivan Herrera, who's been discussed in some trade conversations, because they've got 2 guys in the top 5, 3 in the top 10 if you count Crooks, who has barely played in the big leagues, behind the plate for a team that had Yadier Molina behind the backstop for so many years.
I gotta think someone's getting dealt. I don't know who yet. Great job, by the way. Awesome in-depth stuff on this franchise.
Thank you.
They've got some flashy names. Liam Doyle's getting the Paul Skeens treatment. I had to look up how much Skeens was used in the lower levels. An inning in rookie ball, 3 innings in low A, 2 2/3 innings in double A. I know that ETA says 2027, but depending on what the pitching department looks like for the Cardinals, don't be shocked if you see Doyle up in like June, July, August, postseason expanded roster. Maybe that's when he cracks in. Rodriguez and Bernal, varying skill sets. Rodriguez has the great bat, still working on his defense. Bernal's literally the opposite. He brings the switch hitting element like you brought up. But in terms of catching guys trying to steal, he's up there with the best of them already, especially if those numbers can translate to the big leagues. We said this at the beginning. The Cardinals are an older team, especially when you look around their infield. Where's Donovan going to go, if anywhere? We know about the Arenado move. They made moves for Goldschmidt before. This is a team that is craving young, ripe talent, but ripe teams, players that are ready. They've got a few in there. I'm genuinely just going to keep an eye on Liam Doyle because I want to see if he can break Skeen's, it's probably not a record, but break Skeen's mark where he threw 34 innings in minor league ball. That is someone, when you have a 15.4 K per nine as an SEC arm, I don't think the Cardinals have any question about whether or not he's going to be able to pitch in a major league game. I think it's now, hey, we know you got a powerful arm, 75 grade fastballs nuts. We want as many innings out of you in the big leagues as possible. Why use them up for 150 innings in the minor leagues when you can use them for 50 and you get the other 100 in the majors? That's a very aggressive mindset, but it's one you use for somebody. I literally thought that was a typo until you read it. That has 15.5 K per nine. Like, that is unreal stuff. And then you factor in the level of comp he's playing. So awesome job. I'm going to be watching a lot of Liam Doyle tape this year. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, excited for that was crazy looking at that as well. Like that's nuts. And the swagger too on the mound. Like seeing some of the stuff we talked about with Gage Wood when we were doing the
Yep.
Phillies, but that kind of, Moxie does a little circle around the mound after he gets a strikeout, a little strutting the stuff. That's what especially a team like the Cardinals, need that injection of not only, the power but the swagger back for a team that again with the Brewers it kind of taken over that kind of control in terms of the Cardinals had that control for a while there. So bringing in a guy that has that kind of swagger that's gonna bring it, that knows he's great and is gonna bring it that he's great is important for this team moving forward.
Yeah, it took the words right out of my mouth. Like, he knows he's good. He knows he's great. And
Yeah.
you're going to have him fooling a lot of NL Central bats and then strutting around. And the guys who get struck out are going to go, who does he think he is? Like, I've never faced him before. And those are the mind games you got to play when you're in a very competitive division. So, remarkable job there.